Hey there, welcome back to the DrumShed from wherever you're watching. Or if you haven't ever watched one of my videos before, welcome. It's great to see you and I'm so happy you're here. I hope this video is helpful for you. Okay, so recently over in my Quick Hits series, we did 2 videos on developing single stroke accents. And I thought that was a cool topic, and I certainly know that was really fun when I was developing myself as a drum student. And so I thought it would be cool maybe to do an actual series devoted to just some accent patterns, some simple accent patterns. I think building a strong foundation is the most important thing when you're learning the drums, and maybe when you're learning any instrument for that matter. But really getting a good sense of just some basic accent patterns and actually practicing them, I know was huge for my development as a drummer, and I hope to share that with you today, and hopefully that's helpful. Today we're going to talk about just a couple of super basic places to play accents with singles, and thinking of it in small chunks. I've got a little paper over here. If you click the link below, you'll get your own free PDF of what we're talking about today. So basically I want to think of groups of 4, just 4 hits, and you can think of it as 1/8 notes, you could think of it as 16th notes. Either of those are cool with me. It's totally cool with me. But the idea is we want to, thinking of just 4 hits of singles, right, left, but playing an accent and focusing on that one accent. So the first example would be to play the first note and keep the other 3 notes as soft as you can. Really work on the dynamic. So for example, accent, tap, 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 accent, tap, tap, tap. So this could be 1 and 2 and 1, and it could be that, or it could be 1 E and 2 E and it all depends on what you're comfortable with. Now, a lot of you might be saying, well, that's super easy. You'd be surprised. Some people never really focused on actually working on these individual phrases. So that would be the first one, and then shift it to the left hand. So you would have tap, accent, tap, 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 accent, tap, tap, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, or 1 E and 2 E and then the next phrase I would shift it again. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 or 1 E and 2 E and 3. You do that. Then shift it to the 4th note. So 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, or 1 E and 2 E and 1 E and you could go to that, right? Huge. Then the next thing, and you'll see when you look at the paper here, let's do groups of 2. So accent the first 2 notes. So accent, accent, tap, tap, 1 E and 1 E and, or if you're playing 1 measure, 1 E and 2 E and right? Then shift it to the 2nd and 3rd note. So 1 E and 2 E and or 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, or and then shift it to the 3rd and 4th note. So 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and, or 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and then the last one I would do is accent the first note and then accent the 4th note. So 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1, or 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and These are, as some of you, if you're intermediate and above, you're like, wow, that's so easy. But there may be some of you out there, especially if you're beginners, who've never thought about doing something like this before. For you intermediate players, and maybe some of you intermediate players have never thought of getting into the nitty-gritty of this. So what do I mean by that? Really think hard about your stick heights. So I was kind of, loosey-goosey with how I was demonstrating each version of that. But when I practice this, I get into the detail of like how high or how low my stick is coming off the drum. And I try and maintain that for the duration of that portion of my practice time. So, if I want, I might practice what I consider a high accent, maybe coming up here, and a very low unaccented note, so something like this. And really working on how that feels and practicing that motion. Maybe I want everything in like a mid-range. So maybe I want my unaccented notes kind of here and my accented notes kind of here. So maybe I'm doing something like that. Something like that. But the idea, hopefully you understand what the idea is we're trying to work on our levels, which is then going to allow us to have more control when trying to play with dynamics. If you're wondering what do I mean by dynamics, you can think of it as like the ability to play loud, soft, and everywhere in between. That's something that the pros are always talking about, that like always continuing to work on. Any professional musician will always tell you, yeah, I'm still working on my dynamics. I can always improve my dynamics. I know that's the case for me. And what is the purpose? Like, why should we care about dynamics? It's just an awesome way of speaking the language of drumming. You could think of it as like, when you're talking with someone, if someone has no inflections or emphasis in their speech or in their voice, like if they just sound very monotone like this the whole time and they don't change anything about their talking, that can sound really boring and almost like odd. But when their voice goes up and down and they have life and it draws you into the conversation, well, that's kind of the idea behind dynamics in music, especially when you play music where you get to create and improv a lot, so if you're a blues, rock, funk, jazz player, any of those, if you're not playing like Broadway or orchestral music, and you get to just improv all the time, dynamics can be a huge asset for being creative. But also, if you're in more of those orchestral or Broadway type gigs, you have to know how to play with dynamics because it's written all over the place in the sheet music. So this is a great way of taking a simple exercise and hyper-focusing on the skill of dynamic development and control. You can also use these simple accent exercises to develop your hand technique. So if you're trying to get into, let's say, the molar technique, or you're trying to develop your American grip, those are these are patterns that you can use. They're simple, easy to remember, and you could try adding in a molar technique element or an American grip movement into that pattern, and it's a great way of starting to get those techniques into your playing. If you have any questions about what do I mean about American grip, you can click the link above. If you're interested in learning more about the molar technique, below in the description is a link to my website, TheDrumShed.locals.com. I've got a whole technique series diving into the molar technique there, and so we'd love to have you there, and that's my supporter site, and the folks there, the drummers there, are help me keep this thing going. So they keep the lights on, so to speak. So I would love to have you in our drumming community over on TheDrumShed.locals.com, and you can find some molar technique stuff there. But anyway, getting back to this, this is the first video in what I hope to be a series focusing on developing accents and just some ideas for that. This was bare bones, part one, kind of a description of what it is we're looking to achieve with some super simple exercises. I'll do it with the metronome really quick, maybe just go through a couple of them. I'll play them as 16ths. There you go. So I just ran through, I think I ran through all of the ones I mentioned today, just with the metronome. I had my metronome set to 80 beats per minute, and I tried to just keep an obvious accent and an obvious unaccented note so the microphone could pick it up for you. And I just wanted to give you a quick run through. So it was 80 beats per minute, and I was playing them as 16th notes, so 1 E and all the way through. Listen, thank you so much for being here. I hope this video was helpful, and if you liked this video and enjoyed it, hit the like button, share it with your drummer friends, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you stay all up to date and all the YouTube-y things. It was an honor to have you here. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a very blessed day.